can see you. Well, I tell you what, Mike, that's a lovely little brings you in, doesn't it? That little play down thing with a wake up.
Are we on? Are we over the media this evening, darling?
Yes,
we're going out over
the airwaves. Yeah, we are.
What are we on? Are we on Wake Up or what are we on? Are we on YouTube?
We're on YouTube, so we want to watch our P's and Q's a bit. Evening,
Absolutely.
YouTube.
We don't swear, do we? For fuck's sake.
No, we don't. No.
No.
Only you should mention that.
And also, we don't condone drinking, do we? Really? We don't. This is this champagne's only purely medicinal, as you know, darling. I mean,
is that a magnum, Michael? Is that a magnum of champagne?
No, this is just a week.
Is that a wee glass in your house?
That's a wee glass, son.
We've just come off the top of the air with Billy Watson, the old Scotch geezer. Bill's a dude. Every time I watch him, he reminds me of Billy Connolly. I don't know why I'm getting this strange fascination to.
Yeah, I met Billy Connolly a couple of times. He is arguably one of the funniest. I mean, I don't particularly. I don't think I could go and watch a lot of it or like a whole show. But I was with him for I used to do the Cartier. I do all the cars for Cartier, and and Polo. And Billy Connolly used to turn up occasionally with Pam Anderson and everything. But I mean, being in his company, the guy's just she's beautiful. The guy's just genuinely funny. I mean, I met Ringo Starr there and Barbara Bach and things like that. Such a long time ago because Ringo Starr then was drinking. And he let out the biggest fart I ever. I said that is monumental. He said, yeah, well, even superstars fart, things like that, So, and I got chatting with him for a while, and he was talking about this and that.
Was it a bum note, Michael? Was it a bum note?
Yeah.
They played a lot of them sometimes when they're like mini bum notes.
It certainly kept the beat. There's no doubt about that. But Barbara Bach was stunning, an absolutely gorgeous woman. And very nice. And he just stood there taking a piss in the side of the road, behind a tent, He said, I can't hold this, But that's Ringo. And it's just nice. And, when you meet these people, they're nothing like you think they're going to be. And I saw today that Peter Bowles had died. And Peter Bowles, he was into the Man of Born. Do you remember the Man of Born? Yeah, he was Mr. De Vere. And I met him quite a few times. I drove in for a TV Time. We had the TV Times account. And so I met Peter Bowles, and he was arguably one of the nicest men I ever met. Urbane, very, very together, and slightly, but like a lot of them, they're slightly, what's the word? Shy, if that's the right word. Perhaps not shy, but he was very sort of slightly, sort of not very forward. He said, he had a Maserati. And he said, I'm not sure what to do with it. He said, shall I sell it? I said, no. Best thing to do with that is to take it somewhere, put it in the garage and leave it for 25 years.
Yeah,
and I said, you make a lot of money with it. I said, don't drive. You don't want to drive it. He said, "Oh, it's a bit. There was stuff and that wrong with it." And I said, "Well, you need to go here, you need to go there." I'll give some, tell him what you shouldn't do, and because that's just how it was. And but as I say, I met him a few times, and he was never any different. Such a nice man, and I really liked him.
Man's looking dapper tonight, Michael. You're looking very Swiss. You've been out.
I've been out, sir. Yes, I've been out to London today. I've taken in the sights, and I have to say to you, what they do into London, around Bressenden Place in Victoria. When I used to go around there, even whatever, it was a 4-lane road. Now it's down to two lanes, and the traffic's all squeezed together. And they wonder why the traffic is so congested. It's congested because they've taken all the roads out. They put massive big pavements for no reason.
Here's the thing with that, Mike. We've got smart motorways, we've got smartphones, we've got smart meters, but they're all for dumb people, because only a dumpster would take an hard shoulder out of a motorway to get more flow of traffic down a road.
I agree with you, Dave. I absolutely agree with you. I really do. And I, for the life of me, and having sort of driven in London for what, since 1978, when I started when I was running. Let's see, before that even. What was I? I was about 20. First big job I was about 23, 20. I was running a big coach company, and I went there as a traffic clerk. And ended up at a company called Londoners Coaches, was Joe Davies and the Londoners Coaches. And I ended up being operations manager and running the place with John Davies, who's now sadly dead. But London, there was so much more together, and it flowed, and it was a funny place to go to work.
Wasn't it?
It was. And I have to say, Dave, like anybody watching this, I don't know if anybody watching this, but if you're not going to work with a smile on your face, you're in the wrong job.
Amen. How many people go to work with a smile on their face now, though, Mike? Let's be honest.
Exactly. They go to work to earn money, and that's not a reason to go. I mean, yes, of course, it's a reason to go to work. But what I'm saying is, you've got to go work and enjoy while you're working. Don't just sit there. Wherever I went, I always tried to make it funny and laugh. Even when I was doing the lowliest of jobs, sitting there doing demolition with a joint in my mouth, knocking down this wall, 80 foot up, knocking the wall down, absolutely off your face, But I never liked drugs. I never liked I never liked smoking dope. And they used to give me a joint. And I go, I don't really want this. But and they sit there knocking this stuff down and going down with a matic. And it was good fun. And it was funny and it was laughing. And the guys that came around, they were proper gypsies, used to come around.
Gypsy boys.
Buy the stuff, and buy all the stuff. Now, of course, it's different. They don't want to come around, don't want to pay for anything. So it was different. But now it's a nice. Now London is not that warm and wonderful place. And like Islington, when I lived in Islington for 35 years, when I lived in Islington, when I first went, it was like a village. You could go down the shop, you could buy a box of screws, or you could go and buy a bath plunger, or a shirt, or a pair of shoes. Now you can all go down and buy a sandwich, a glass of wine, or a beer. That's what Islington's become. It's kind of just a big complex for evenings out, which isn't right.
It's not right, no. And I guess it'll come to a bit of a. I've got a funny story, but not a funny story. It is what it is. I've just been doing some bits for a mate of mine. He's a train driver. He got 3 kids, beautiful wife, and he drives for them. And train drivers, I'm led to believe that he's on about 90 grand a year, less his bits and bobs, and he's probably taking home 60, 65 grand, which is all right for a good man. It's a good man's wage. Anyway, when I was working, I went down. I said, "I'm just check your boiler, Rob," and I said, "Your hot water thermostat's right down on 2." I said, "You're never going to get a hot shower like that." He went, "Oh, no, I've got to turn it down." I'm like, "Why?" He said, my energy bill's gone up 186%. They've gone from £90 a month to 256. He said, and they reckon they're going to go again. He said, and I'm thinking, now this is the interesting thing. They're not a family living in a council flat or on a council estate. These are proper people. He's a parish councillor. He's doing all these bits and bobs, civic duty, whatever you want to call it. And here he is. Now they've got into his mental capacity. He's now got to be careful with the fuel and all these other bits that he's using. He's going around the house trying to scrimp scrape. And I found that. I'm thinking, wow, man. Wow. Because we've already decimated really much the working class, the lower echelons. They're all snowed under now. They're all in the slave units. They've all lost the will to live. Some of us, we haven't lost the will to live. We battle and we get through it in our own way every day. But the point is this, they're now coming for us lot. And what are they going to do when they've done us lot? Who are they going to go for after that? I don't know.
Well, today, interesting today. I was reading in the Telegraph today, online. I was online today, and I was going on the way back from London, and they were talking about on the way to London. They were talking about a guy who was supposed to be a time traveller. Now, you can take a view on that. I don't think anybody. I think time travelling. They say it's possible. They say that the Americans had it after the Second World with the
it is.
And they say it actually happened. They actually say it disappeared for a second and came back again. Now, in that second, could have gone back and spent how long? Who knows? But anyway, they did this. But this guy said he was been time traveling, and the interesting thing wasn't about you could take it with a pinch of salt. You can believe what you like. But this guy was talking about going into the past and going into the future, and he said that the human beings that were then being the human race that was alive in 500 years' time were run by AI.
AI. Could be.
Why am I getting a feedback? Sorry, I'm getting a bit of feedback now. It's like extraordinary, and so I mean, and that's where we go, because when you think about it, I mean, we are now turning ourselves into robots, because everybody's getting a metal hip. Again, plates in this, and screws in that. How long can it be before we are, when we're born, we're just a brain or a skull, and we're just put on top of like an Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator sort of machine, then to give us longevity, and that would be, Dave, for one reason, to save the NHS.
I mean,
the thing is, how much joy is there in the world at the moment? Sure. How many people are actually enjoying their lives?
It's getting smaller, I guess. I mean, look, we've had Rod Stewart the other day. He's had to come out in his own road and start refilling potholes that the council.
He wouldn't pay for it because he doesn't pay for anything. John Rod Stewart doesn't pay for anything, but that's just the way.
But why is he doing it? Is he doing it just so he can get his Ferrari down the road? Probably.
Well, look at how many. I mean, look what we got into where I live before they came around and were forced to do. It's like the last day of the Somme, and wasn't it? There was more. It looked like he shelled for weeks, months. And the Russians were like blowing the road up. And but I was talking, as I said before we came on, I was talking about a guy I saw went up to London to this guy in Lowndes Square, and I was talking to the Polish guy who came to fix the boiler. And I said to him, "What do you think about what's happening in Ukraine?" And this guy was really scathing about the Russians. And I said to him, "Well, the Poles don't have a great view on the Germans, but their view on the Russians is even worse, because the Russians stood back and watched Germany invade Poland, and they took half the country and never gave it back. The Russians, the Germans had this pact called the Pact of Steel, which they did, which came as a complete surprise back in 1940, and just before they launched Barbarossa, which was the invasion of Russia. Now, the interesting thing about that is, and I said this, that the Wehrmacht, the German army, the German Sixth Army, there was three fronts. And the north, south, hello. And there was north, south. Hello, George Carroll. There were three fronts, and in the southern front which is von Paulus. He advanced with the Sixth Army, and when they got to the Crimean, all the mechanized, all the tanks, and all the mechanized, the heavy equipment, went to the Crimean to seize the oil fields, and the rest of the army, that's the infantry and the lightly armored troops, pushed up towards Stalingrad. If Hitler had taken Ukraine, consolidated Ukraine, and then put a wholly force in hold of Ukraine, and then gone up and advanced up to Stalingrad with all the equipment, they would have blown. Stalin would have been history. However, the point I'm making is that the Wehrmacht took Ukraine in no time whatsoever. It took them no time to take the whole country. The Russians, with all the technology they've got, the aircraft they've got, and all these specialist weapons. When the Germans only had machine guns and tanks and artillery, this lot have got missiles, they've got everything you possibly want to fight a proper war. Can't take a country which is a third as well equipped as the Russians, and they're just killing them.
There was
So,
a video I was watching earlier today. It was an RT news broadcast. I'm trying to find it. I don't know if I can find it on here. No, I can't. But it was that the Ukrainian Navy done a disappearing act, like very sharp. All Ukrainian stuff. You with me?
You lost your signal for a second.
Oh, it's probably because I was searching. Yeah, so this video popped up from RT News today, and it was that the Russians have taken a Ukrainian naval port, and the Ukrainian soldiers just abandoned all the vessels, all the ships. They just got off quick because there was still warm teapots and everything like that. So they got out in the nick of time, and the Russians now have taken them vessels. I mean, I don't know how true that is. That's the thing. What do we believe, Mike? You know, I don't. But mind you, I am feeling compassionate because Boris has now come out and said he's going to give me £350 a month if I take a Ukrainian refugee. Now, I've given this some very serious thought, and I've looked at some of the young girls in their 20s.
No, it's not a week; it's a month.
Oh, that's a month.
£350 a month.
I've got 2 Ukrainian girls coming, Petra and Nadia, 2 blondes. They're only 23, and I've said to the missus, because we ain't got enough room, she's going to have to move out. So, you know, hopefully she'll see the, because I'm doing my duty. I'm taking in a.
I said you that, didn't I? I did say that earlier. Can I just say that sorry, Kerry Ann and Carol, this is purely medicinal champagne, and it's because I've got a bad throat. So don't think we drink for I don't drink because I enjoy it. I hate it. Horrible, awful, and it is only Bollinger after all. So I mean, I'm not. So that's the only reason. I urge you not to drink the champagne. Any Bollinger or Dom Perignon or anything Dom Perignon you have, which is awful, give it to me and I'll dispose of it for you. Just making a relevant point. That's all. You know, yes, right.
You like a bottle of champagne, darling, didn't you?
I do like a bottle of champagne or 12. Yes, I've been known to knock a few bottles back in the course of, not like I used to, but you know, we're rich and famous then. But nowadays, I mean, I'm more refined. I do try to stick at an occasional bottle or 2 of Bollinger, which is probably my favourite sort of champagne to drink for a start. But I like Pol Roger, which was Churchill's favourite champagne. And because I work for LVMH, which is Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy, I work for Moet, and it's not Moet, by the way, it's Moet. Because
Moet, like Mallet.
Yeah, Moet was a Dutchman, so it was always Moet and Chandon. And he rescued the Chandon family. And funny enough, I met the last of the Chandons, which was the Count Chandon de Brule. And so I got to know them very well. And they were very French, and they spoke English as well as the Queen, without any. They were French, and without any accent on it. You know, one was a bit French, was a bit like this, but when they spoke terribly well, very, very well educated.
Fragile, darling.
Yeah. So champagne is beautiful, and if you ever do get a chance to go down to the tour, do the tour, you go to Epinay. I urge you strongly to go because it really is worth to learn about champagne, how it's made, and everything else. But the best champagne that you'll get isn't in the champagne houses; it's with the growers. I was fortunate enough to be given. I was to take to do some work. I had to go to Epinay, and while I was there, I could have gone to the chateau for the evening party, and I didn't want to go. So a woman there who I got to know quite well, she's invited me to meet the growers. And I drank champagne there. I've drunk Ethniques, which are the finest champagnes you can have, which cost colossal amounts of money. But I drank this champagne out of a bottle with a plastic cork on, and I've never drank champagne better than anything I drank that evening. It was unbelievable, fabulous. And of course, as the French say, we don't sell. We only keep the best wines for ourselves.
Have you ever tried a bottle of the proper Plonkno, the Gino Vino?
You mean Pink Lady?
No, Gino De Campo's got a nice bottle of wine there. It's called Gino Vino. It's all the range. It's perfect. Gino De Campo. The sausage in the hole, man.
You see, the thing is, what you got to think about is this: if you buy a bottle of wine for about 10 quid, right? What are you going to get? You're going to get 10 quid's worth of grapes, right? Now, on tonight, if you're watching this Stanley Tucci program tonight, Stanley Tucci, Stanley Tucci is doing the fabulous actor, American actor, is going up and down Italy, and he's going around all the places to eat some of the finest food, and he was talking about the wines tonight, and he was explaining, just to make a bottle of balsamic vinegar this big, right, a litre, it takes 100 kilos of grapes. Just to make the balsamic vinegar, and it's the best in the world. This stuff where it goes to, and so that's how many grapes it is. So when you buy a bottle of wine and you think, oh, this is a really good bottle of wine for a tenner, it isn't. You just to buy a bottle of wine, you've got to think that 25, 30 quid to get anything half reasonable, and that's why it's good wines. You can sit there and get pissed on a bottle of 13% or 14% wine, and you're getting. It's just but if you're going to drink like Montrachet or something really like a bottle of Pomerol, you're going to have to spend some money. And then, of course, don't just sit there and drink and eat a packet of crisps with it. You've got. I mean, when I was at Gordon Ramsay's that night, and we were out a friend many years ago, 8 of us, and he just had $3 million. He was a trader on the markets, and he got a £3 million bonus. He took us all out for dinner, and we went to Gordon Ramsay, and we spent so much money on wine. Gordon Ramsay actually came out and cooked for us. He really did. It was fabulous, and it was many years, a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. And Kerry Ann says, "Parsnip wines, poor man champagne, easy to make." Well, all right, you drink that, and I'll drink Dom Perignon.
She said it's like, she says, look it up, it's like rocket fuel. We could be on because we live next to one another, just around the corner, mate. We could be our new little country moonshine. We could get moonshine business going.
Well, Kerry Ann, why don't you come on and explain to us how you make it? Come on the show and explain to us how to make it. And then if you've got any, me and Dave will come round in his velo. I'll sit on the back, giving him directions, and we'll come round and enjoy the few bottles of this stuff. Is that good?
She's saying here, 1 bag of sugar, fruit turning equals 3 bottles. That sounds lovely, didn't it? Parsnip wine.
Kerry Ann, where do you live? Where do you live?
Yeah, we're coming round yours, Kerry. We're coming round yours.
We'll bring the food.
Yeah. Some canapes and some lovely. So, Michael, can I ask, are you going to take a Ukrainian refugee, maybe a nice young blonde in for a month? Maybe see how it goes?
Not at my age. No, not at my age. No, I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is do what I normally do.
What's
just
that?
Drink a lot. I hope it all goes away. Someone else can deal with it. No, I think if I wasn't moving and I had a more and I had a slightly bigger house, like 4 bedrooms, I'd think about it. But I mean, the thing is, it's what you're getting. I mean, you might get someone who can't speak English very well, or you might get someone who's not used to living in the area, not living in this. I'm not saying they're morons or whatever, but she's listening to West Midlands. Thanks, Kerry Ann. I bet you live in Peckham. I bet you're doing it.
She probably does it. Oh, yeah, I'm from Peckham, so
this idea, a lot of people are doing it to make money. I don't see how you could keep a family of, say, a woman and a couple of young kids on £350 a month. When you think it's just like feeding them, it isn't. There's more hot water, more electricity, more, you name it, it's going to be everything. And you're going to, for the first couple of months, you're going to spend loads of money on them because you feel sorry for them, and so you could end up skint, and interest rates went up today as well. Everything's going up. I mean, it's going to be colossal. I mean, when you think a litre of kerosene to put in home heating, is £1 a litre. It's just dropped down from £1.19 a litre. And boiler juice a little while ago were doing it for 188. What was it? It worked out 500 litres was £880 for 500 litres of kerosene.
Well, they're struggling to get it in the country. The tankers and
it said it had eased a bit. They produce a lot more. But I mean, Rishi Sunak's going to, when he does his autumn statement, he's going to, or the spring budget thing, he's going to do something. They reckon he might even improve pensions for the old people, and he's got to do something.
Yeah, but he said he might. Do you hear about? Apparently, my mate was reporting the day he works for him, Barry Wickens, and P&O have pulled all their ferries into port and said they don't know whether they're going to be carrying on. Like they
sacked all the staff. They've said they've tied all the boats up and said you're all redundant. And they've got new staff to take the boats on cheaper.
Stop it.
That's what it's all about. They made everybody redundant and made everybody down, which, everybody, 800 people are all redundant. And so what's happening now is you've got a standoff. These crew won't leave the boats. The boats are sitting there, costing them P&O money, and you've got a standoff. And the people won't leave the boat. So the police are going to, at some point, the police will get involved trying to oik them off. But I don't know.
Mate, that's a bit concerning, isn't it?
Well, I mean, the thing is, Dave, I mean, it's like Ronald Reagan. He said to when the airlines in America went on strike with him years ago, he said, sack everybody on the airlines, sack everybody. Bring the airlines to a standstill. Everybody, all the airline pilots, the crews, all going on strike, sack the lot of them. And then if they want their jobs back, they can come to it, and they would have come back. And so it broke the back of it. So what all that P&O are doing, it's costing us money. We can't afford to run at this. We need to reduce costs. Now the unions are going, they can't do that. Of course they would. Well, that's what they're for. But I think P&O. I will never take a P&O ferry. I will never travel P&O. I'll never go on a cruise with P&O because it's run by Arabs.
Is it?
Yes, and it's running coming out of Dubai.
I think most things are, I guess, you know.
When you think, Dave, when you think about this country, and everybody out there can all think about it, how many things in this country do we actually own now?
Nothing. Well, they're coming for us now. They own us, and also they're selling it all off.
Well, yeah, I went past Buckingham Palace today. They spend all this money on it, and the Queen now lives at Windsor Castle. And she doesn't want it. She'll never come back to Buckingham Palace.
No, she won't. No.
No. And so I thought, who's going to live in? And apparently, Prince Charles, when he's king, is going to live in Buckingham Palace. What a prick! I mean, he shouldn't be king anyway. I mean, I would turn the Buckingham Palace into a museum, and a place for a lot of people's palace. You know, turn it into something. I know it's a tourist spot, but yeah, here you go.
It is what it is, man. It is what it is. Jesus Jones is saying the unions don't care. They don't. I think unions now, they've got nothing. We're not like talking Scargill, when Scargill was probably the last man of a union that had any sort of clout. And the only clout he had was to rally the people. He didn't have no political clout or anything like that. It was just to rally the miners. And, man, some of them pictures of the mining ruckuses that they had with the police and the police officers, they were costing, mate. I'm just sick. I mean,
with Scargill.
Yeah, that was bad.
Well, the thing with Scargill, of course, he turned out to be a bit of an oddbod because he had this fabulous miners' house flat in London, and that was his while he was president of the miners. When he wasn't president anymore, because he succeeded Joe Gormley, he decided he wasn't going to leave. So he didn't leave it. He wouldn't leave. He fought a battle over it to stop me leaving, and there was murders over it. This is Arthur Scargill, the man of the people. You know.
Yeah.
That's the unions for you.
I thought Jimmy Savile was the head man of the miners.
Jimmy Savile.
Yeah, I thought he was in charge of the miners.
Oh, you're very droll.
Anyway, moving on.
This is where putting their fingers in their ear. What's
he saying? What's he saying? Is that your first glass of champagne?
No, it's about I think this is about 7. About 7. I think 7 glasses. Yeah. I only drank it. I only drank because the top was off.
Is Maxine drinking it and all?
No, she's on. Do you know what I got? What I picked up the other day? Maxine likes pink wine, rosé, and so I was in there, and they relaunched Matthias Rosé. Now in the '60s, when Matthias Rosé came in, I remember sitting there with the Who in clubs when I was very young, and we were drinking. I wasn't with their company, but I was sort of around it. And Roger Daltrey passed me and said, "Do you want to try this?" And I tried my first glass of Matthias Rosé from Roger Daltrey. They were drinking, I think it was Pete Towns, I can't remember. But and so that's why I got my first glass of Matthias Rosé. And this Maxine, so I picked £6 a bottle. It's 11% by volume alcohol. I mean, there's nothing in it. It's just like fizzy water. But I mean, it's very refreshing. So I thought, oh, let's try that. And I'm going to tell you, it is very refreshing.
Nice.
Yeah, it's very nice. So all you girly girls out there, go down to Sainsbury's, get some Matias Rosé. It's Portuguese wine. It's a pink wine, and you'll find it's got a very good. It's a very refreshing wine. It's got a good it's got a good aftertaste, and it's reasonable, and you won't be disappointed with it because people only drink it because
I like what Mickey Flanagan says about the girls when they're going out for a sophisticated night and they get on the old vino. He said, and at the end of the night, you're holding their hand and they're bent down in the gutter, pulled their knickers to one side, pissing like a camel, and said, "Why did you let me drink them 2 bottles of Pinot Noir?"
Yeah, sometimes you look at these women, then you know why men are gay. I was getting funny enough on the train tonight. On the train home this morning. On the train, I'm 71 next month, and there's 2 gay guys that are holding hands. It was very near his crotch, by the way. I was getting a bit concerned.
Oh,
yeah.
Anyway, it is what it is.
He kept looking at him going, "Do the off, mate. For goodness sake, nothing here but flab and old memories, But very sad, but very disappointing. But there you are. But anyway, so Matias Rosé, girly girls, £6 a bottle. I mean, if you're going to drink cheap wine, that's about as good as it gets. It won't do any harm either.
What made you go back up to London today then? Because you just thought that you needed a hand or hold the ladder?
No, I'm your labourer, Dave.
No, because you have to hold the ladder. Yeah, I was going to say, was you holding the ladder?
I had to go pay him. I had to go give him some money. He got the part, and I had to give him the best part of £400. So,
yeah.
I mean, he was only there 15, 20 minutes, and they charged by the hour, which is God knows what, and the part was whatever it was, and it was like £400, so best part. So, but it was, Lowndes Square is, that 15 million quid, that flat, Dave.
I know, but they're nice people, man. But I just think to myself, if I was a billionaire, I'd keep a few million for myself, maybe, but I'd just have to help people. I couldn't. Yeah. The Bible says, was it profit a man to inherit the world, but in turn lose his soul? I'm not suggesting they've lost their soul, but I just think you're supposed to use whatever it is you got, your psyche, your spirit, your money, whatever, for good, and to help people and to give people a hand up and help them along the way. We're not supposed to have this massive divide of people living homeless and billionaires. To me, I think it's sick, really. And don't get me wrong, years ago when I first started out, I thought capitalism and that was a fantastic thing, freedom. And I think we mix capitalism up with freedom because we seem to think that capitalism gives us freedom. It doesn't. You still have to buy it. You have to buy your freedom. If you ain't got cash, you're down a soup kitchen, you're being kicked in the gutter, sitting homeless in a corner. So only your money buys you your freedom, and it's the other way around, really. It should be our freedom buys us our money. So yeah, I used to be a right Thatcherite back in the day. I thought she was good when she sold everything off. She kind of was, but in hindsight, I'm looking back thinking it turned us into all arrogant, self-conceited individuals. We lost that ability that we're all, we should be looking out for one another and our public sector. I've wrote to the Chief Constable today and I've sent him a sterling document. Yeah, and it's like
feedback, Dave. Get some feedback, yeah.
I don't know why. I've got nothing else turned on, no other volumes on anywhere else.
Okay, ladies, is anybody on there turned on?
Hey. So I said to him today in this letter, and he'll probably get it tomorrow or the day after, probably early next week, probably Monday now, it get to him. But I've said, look, law can't prevail when force is the overarching factor because the law becomes subservient. And I said, but in point of fact, all it's done is turned you into a petty tyrant. You're just a petty tyrant. If you can only use force to get your will over somebody else, you're a petty tyrant. And I said, many times in history, we've removed that impertinence from this country because the English, we don't seem to like that. We might tolerate it for a bit of feudalism, bit of this, but then when shit comes to shove and things really come on top, we won't tolerate it. For sure we won't. I'll be surprised if we all do, to be fair.
Well, I mean, the thing, when you look around the world, there's no happiness. I mean, there's no happiness in this world at the moment. I mean, when you think, when I was young, and America was America, and you had a good president like Ronald Reagan. Now, people say Ronald Reagan was this. Well, to be honest with you, I remember. I go right back to Eisenhower. And I was alive when Eisenhower was on the throne of, if you like, and so I can remember. And I remember Kennedy. I remember all the presidents. Like LBJ, and then you get to someone like Jimmy Carter, which is like Jimmy Carter. I mean, Biden is like Jimmy Carter on steroids, and that's how bad Carter was. But Biden now is eclipsing him, and I have to say that America now is in a state whereby the world, because America isn't there to protect us like it has done, although this country is better protected than most countries. I think America has lost that je ne sais quoi. It's lost its. Nobody's frightened of America.
No.
With Biden and Harris in charge, you've got two people clearly haven't got a clue what they're doing. They're out of their depth. They've allowed America to start begging tyrants, what we're talking about, for like in Saudi Arabia and Iran and Venezuela for oil, when America could be sending us oil by the boatload daily basis, where it could run forever. Well, not forever.
But the game plan now, Mike, is for annihilation. They can't bring this new world order, whatever it is. All this energy rises with food, gas, petrol is all there. It's their end game. We are now seeing them playing out their end game. And it's whether we tolerate it. We are seeing, mate. That's what they're doing. They're playing their end game. They're playing it.
The thing is, we're getting to a stage now where we're run by tyrants anyway.
We are.
I mean, Boris Johnson is the prime minister. He's a dictator, and this government. And I have to say to you, who's going to vote for Keir Starmer? I mean,
there's quite a telling scene in a film actually. It's called Valkyrie. Yeah. And it's about this. Tom Cruise plays the dude, and he's trying to kill Hitler. He wants to end the war. They come up with this coup. But the point is this: there's a point in that film where the Germans start losing the war, and this dude who's in charge of paperwork and intelligence got these little wrap-round glasses around his ears with the little round things. He's telling everybody that before they can leave their buildings, they have to destroy all the paper, and these papers are like papers to do with kids' houses, all their social service. They're trying to burn everything to hide it, so that the Westerners, that when they turn up and take over this base, can't see what they've been up to. And I think that's quite telling, because I fail to see how we see this world's got an artificial layer over it, and that's the truth. Most people won't accept the truth. But the creation never created borders, never created a landmass called England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales. We've done that to cause division and divide. But we are absolutely now a world where you can't do what you want to do unless you've got a piece of paper that says you can do it. And I think that's really quite tragic. Quite tragic, because if we're all in communities and we all know our neighbours and we're all just getting along, we don't need all these. Honestly, I would end the legal system for me is the nemesis. The Bar Association is the nemesis. And it's not about fighting each other and fighting this and that and the other. And I think that's quite telling. Because,
can I just say, there's some strange object just appeared
on the screen. We've got the one-eyed monster.
Evening.
Oh, what's the matter with your voice? Is that you, Jenny?
Piss off.
Hey, piss off, she said. Don't watch that. He's on his seventh glass of Dom Perignon.
Yeah, no, it's Bollinger. It's fine. I was just saying, the way you were talking about it is von Stauffenberg. Count von Stauffenberg, who led the coup against Hitler in 1944 at the Wall Slayer and East Prussia. And she survived, obviously. But Himmler, he plotted against, the Heinrich. He plotted against Hitler. as did Goring, who thought he'd lost his mind at the start, said he was and it ended up with.
Just get him out.
Oh, what's that noise?
We can't hear a word you're saying. Sorry.
Yeah.
Spitchuck, can you say something?
No.
Why you sound like you're in an elevator?
Elevator?
Yeah, you sound like you're going. You sound like that noise.
Maybe I've been elevated.
Hey, happy days. Well,
yeah.
we can't see that because we got kids tuning.
Well, the thing is, if they can make Paul, if they can make Ian Botham a Lord, and they can make Paul McCartney, which they're talking about making him appear, you could be anything you like.
Oh, yeah. Is that Paul McCartney? What's his missus' name? It's not Penny Lancaster. That's Rod Stewart's missus, isn't it?
What? Paul McCartney's? Oh no.
Penny Lancaster. Who's Paul McCartney's missus? Oh God, what's her name? Heather something or other, isn't it?
Mills.
Who?
No, that's the one who had one leg. No, he got rid of her years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was a nutcase. She was a brass anyway.
Oh, he got rid of her.
Was it Heather or was it Rita?
I don't know who's got now.
Who?
It depends which story you believe.
Rita. There's a lot of people, you know. There's a lot of people that say that Paul McCartney, the original, died years and years ago. Yeah. And in some of them,
in a car accident, 1 November in about 1964, I think.
Yeah, I see. Wow.
Yeah, and the woman that was that knew about it, that the girl in there was a pale blue dress, I believe she was described as wearing, and the name of Rita. Apparently, she turns up later on in his life wanting to spill the beans, and she got a cut of the money by marrying him. That's why he ousted his woman at the time to get with her.
Don't know, yeah.
She lost a leg in a motorbike accident.
Yeah, but is it true?
Which was shortly after she came out threatening to fill the beans about McCartney.
Well, we don't know, Mike, but there's some quite compelling things. It's like everything with all this stuff, you know. There's a lot of compelling evidence to suggest that certain things are true, but because
I don't know if you noticed, but George used to refer to Paul as Fall.
I just called him Fall.
Fall, as in fake Paul.
That's right.
It's a Fall. And in a couple of interviews, he referred to him as Fall.
He did, yeah, he did. I can remember. And there was a few songs where it was kind of in the lyrics of the songs as well.
It wasn't just in the lyrics; it was all over the album covers. The clues were all there. And apparently, was it MI5? They were closely onto him. A guy called Maxwell. Yeah.
Wow.
Inspector Maxwell, or something like that. They turn up when people of high profile end up carking it. We
all live in a yellow submarine, Jesus Jones is saying.
Yeah, he's right there. We live in.
Well, it was discovered that what's the other guy? Lennon was putting backwards masking onto the records.
He was, yeah.
He got away with it for years because this Maxwell was onto his album covers. You could see that was messages being given on the album covers. So he discovered backward masking, as in putting words in, but you can only read them, listen to them if you play it backwards. And it was discovered by an American radio DJ, and he played all the messages over on air.
There you go, son. Yeah, it's quite compelling, Mike. It's a subject that's worth at least listening to, because it is what it is. And they've taken some pictures as well of the original Paul McCartney and the one that they've got now, and there's quite it does look like him, yeah, for sure it does, but you can see the difference, clearly see the difference.
Well, we had a lookalike competition, didn't they, in the States?
Oh.
But the winner was never aired. It was never broadcast who the winner was. And apparently, the guy that won became the new Paul McCartney.
Huh?
On one of the Beatles albums, this guy that, when he entered this lookalike competition, he sent a photograph in, like for your audition photograph. And that photograph ended up on one of the Beatles album covers. that was Lennon saying, "It's in your face."
It's truth, Bruce. Oh, I love John Lennon. I thought John Lennon was cool, and he was topped on purpose. I'm sure Yoko knows it. Actually, many years ago, when I started in the Little Truther movement, I used to get messages and voice notes from Julian Lennon.
Well, did you see McCartney's reaction when he was interviewed that the same day that John Lennon died?
No.
It was he got caught. It was on a night out, and yeah, man, it's a drag. It's like there was a reaction of a man that knew it was going to happen. It wasn't, "Oh, my best friend's been murdered," because these guys grew up together.
When someone's asking who introduced John to LSD, well, interesting. Well, when they went to India, the Maharishi, or they all got and they all started smoking drugs. But LSD, I first come across it in about 1967, and when you used to stand in the clubs, all of a sudden you started these weird and wonderful visions, and people coming out sticking a pin in you. And it was all about a bit of blotting paper. And then it was sugar cubes. That's how a lot of people took it. But the point I'm making is that Cary Grant was a real exponent of LSD. And LSD was used by the CIA for interrogation. They investigated, did a big thing on it, and it became a real a wonderful drug. I mean, if you ever had LSD, and I've taken it low dose when I was very younger, about a year ago. When I was very much young in the 60s and 70s, I took LSD a lot, and I know I had one guy. I've only ever saw one guy had a really bad trip on it, and he really did, and that was quite serious. But I had a wonderful time in the rain, on bright sunshine. It was fabulous, and but the strangers like giving a cat mescaline, things like that. And that was we watching a cat run around the ceiling. That was quite hilarious. But so there was a.
Oh, you're going to have the old pet people on you now. That's it. You won't get a pet plan at Vets with Pets.
No pet plan for me. But John Lennon, Alistair Crowley, the wickedest man in the world. They recited they did the Lord Prayer backwards over his grave when they died, didn't they? But he died apparently trying to. Yeah, they did. They did the Black Mass over his grave when he died. Apparently he died because he tried to raise Pan, the great god Pan, and that's John Bonham, another one. They said he died. He was into black magic, and he actually bought Alistair Crowley's house in Scotland and lived there. So they were all into this weird and wonderful stuff. And John Bonham died, as we saw, died of a heart attack, which was brought on by, I believe, by a lot of drugs he was taking at the time. But an interesting time. But that's why Led Zeppelin gave up, even though his son now, John Bonham's son, is a drummer and plays the drums. They said they reformed. They never. It could never be the same Led Zeppelin. I remember seeing Led Zeppelin in the Rainbow years ago. It was phenomenal, and they were weird and wonderful. But in those days things were so much easier, so much better, and so more accessible. Now, of course, they want millions. They go and watch the Rolling Stones. They want 500 quid, and that. But when I went to the Rainbow, it was like 3 or 4 quid. Which was still a lot of money then.
It's like going and watching a bunch of dried up prunes.
Well, yeah, it is now, but I mean, it's not about. You don't go to listen to music. I see if they're still alive. I mean,
your body count up there. Yes, he's up there. Look, he's up. Look, he's got his Zimmer frame out.
Well, the thing is, who's left? I mean, Brian Jones has went at first, then Bill Wyman's gone, Charlie Watts has gone. Who's left? You've got Keith Richards and Mick Jagger. And then and Ronnie Wood. Ronnie Wood's not well. And so. Who are you going to have? It's going to be. I don't know why they do it. I mean, they don't need the money. I suppose it's just the buzz. But I don't know. But I mean,
you don't think they go skin? You don't think they spend it all over the years and just blow it away?
Not Mick Jagger. Mick Jagger, no, not at all. But having said that, they're quite philanthropists. They're quite
philanthropists.
Yeah, they do. They apparently a lot of these pop stars do give a lot to charities over there. I know Paul McCartney is supposed to be quite, not exactly, quite frugal. He gives a lot to charity. As does, funny enough, the Queen, she gives a lot more. George Michael did.
Man,
I used to meet George. I knew George Michael quite well. Well, I didn't know quite well, but I knew him going to the club scene in there and in the. Mark got to know him in
the toilets.
No. That's where you met him. You were in gentlemen's toilets with him. I know what you're doing. But yeah, I got to know him in Browns.
Are you going to put that straight, Jen?
Yeah, in Brownsend was run by a guy I used to work for, and then I got to know outside. When I
At
was
Shoreditch.
No, Browns was in just in Queen Street, just up Covent Garden, just by Kingsway, and they had a club there, and they went there, and all the big pop stars went, and it was like it's just like one line of Charlie. It was just one line of Coke. It was just that's all it was there. It was huge, but that's how it was at the time. It was good fun, and it was a long time ago, but. But I got to meet, George Michael was about as nice a guy as you ever met. Funny enough, the story, my then girlfriend, who I then went on to marry some years later, she went off just to visit the lavatory for a moment's hesitation of, for whatever she was doing. She decided she was gone for ages. And oh my God, she's dead. She'd overtaken the note. She OD'd or something. And eventually she came waddling back with a big smile on her face. I said, "Oh my God, what happened?" And what happened to you? She said, "I fainted." I said, "Why?" She said, "I just saw George Michael." And she said he was so handsome. She said, and he was very handsome. I mean, and such a lovely, lovely man. Would talk to anybody. And really was a lovely guy. And I did tell him that my daughter at the time was taken all his pictures down and was into then. I don't know, some other group, and he looked at me and said, "Don't worry, he still buys the records." So he was quite happy about that. But he was a lovely guy, and I really liked talking to him. I used to have a drink with him and everything. It was lovely.
Nice fella, wasn't he?
Yeah, they were good fun. Like Scritti Politti and all that. And they were all
Scritti Politti.
All in there.
One of my favourite 80s groups they were.
Yeah, that's right. Martin Fry was just getting in various plays, all kinds of people.
He was the lead singer, wasn't he, Martin Fry?
Human League.
Oh, Human. He was what, the lead singer in Human League?
Yeah, I think Human League, wasn't it? Yeah, I think Martin Fry. But you saw, as I say, but the bigger thing, the one that takes me, that makes me feel, makes it feel it's all worthwhile was there's Johnny Rotten. Nobody listened to was telling everybody about Jimmy Savile, and nobody would do anything.
No, exactly. And but he did go on. He got vilified and a rapturous applause when he went on the Piers Morgan show and Piers Morgan interviewed him. But look, even then, I mean, all right, Jimmy was dead at that point. But what did it achieve? Nothing's changed. We still have, this is what gets me. All right, look, Ukraine, Russia, yeah, all right, it's all going on. I'm more concerned about the kids in care being abused and being held down and being sexualized and having some big fat man's willy slapped into their body at 1,000 miles an hour. That to me haunts me. So unless my faculties of my country are bang on, then I say, yeah, let's go and help the rest of the world. But until then, until we get rid of the abuse, this dark, dirty system in our own country, I don't really think we're in a...
Yeah, that's all very well. But then again, you get the story that came out today about the Met strip searching a 15-year-old girl in her school. She's stripped naked. She's on a period. She's obviously traumatized because they say she smelt of cannabis. So the Met police go storming in, drag her out, strip search this, spread her cheeks wide to see if she's got anything stuck in her private places, and took a sanitary towel out and all that. And all that.
Really?
Took all that out and then found nothing, and then gave it back to her because she had nothing else. Didn't have a clean one. She had to use this thing back into herself, poor little love. And she was 15 years old. And the school never insisted, apparently, that nobody went in there to supervise that, to oversee what they were doing. Didn't call the parents and say, look, your daughter's, we expect her doing this, you better get to the school. They just went in and did that. That's the Met Police. That's the people that you would ring up to say, my daughter's being abused by who? You're being fucking abused by the Met Police, a bunch of wankers. These guys ain't fit to command a tent. They shouldn't be in charge. They should be got rid of, like the NHS. Got rid of and put people in there and know what they're doing. Because the police aren't police people. They're not police. They're what are they? They're officers of the court. That's all. They go as service summonses to make money.
That's all they do.
You know that. I do. The Spirit knows that.
What did you make of that letter I sent earlier?
Fabulous, wasn't it? As an I bet he can't. I bet he doesn't understand a word of it. He'll just file it.
And whilst we're on the show, Wake Up UK, let's give a shout out to Strong Angel because I used during audible notice with that today and send that off. So let's see what happens.
So that, yeah, we'll try to like that day.
That notice, that message you got on the screen there about it mentions adrenochrome.
Yeah.
Did you see the post I made? The Turkish TV program did a piece on adrenochrome.
No.
It was a bit like a CNN article, you know the way it's set up on the screen. Yeah, they're banging on about it, and they had all the usual faces up there, the Pope and Prince Philip and all the rest of them. Yeah, it's going on. It was crazy that the newsreader, the reporter, was saying it was sickening.
Well, look, even
to cover it. And it's there on an actual proper MSN broadcast talking about it.
There's a lot of people speaking out. We've got Billy Smith sent me a video earlier of there's a guy in the Vatican. He's a nuncio to America because nuncios are the Pope's individual in whatever country running the affairs of the Vatican, etc. But this guy's come out, he's calling them all out, he's calling his own church out, saying we can't have this corporate takeover of the world, we can't allow this tyranny to manifest. And I'm thinking he was quite sincere with it, to be fair. So I think there's many. I don't think these people that think they run it all actually get to see their promised land. I really don't, because I just don't think that the planet and the people on the planet are going to put up with it. I just don't see them putting up with it.
Yeah, but it goes back. The thing is, Dave, if nowadays, if you've got a problem, if you're in trouble, who'd you call? Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters.
Yes, that's it. And I mean that seriously, because there's nobody going to come out and help you, is it? No one. The police ain't interested.
Yeah, mate. No, they're not. I wouldn't ring them if I'd boil my own piss before I ring the police. I really would.
I'm outside with a camera and they'll come racing.
No, yeah,
exactly.
Say somebody's armed. They'll have helicopters and armed police surrounding the place in seconds.
But what's the repercussions for these people that have done that to that 15-year-old girl? Do they go home tonight and have their dinner and put their head on the pillow and think, oh, I've done a good day's work?
They don't care, do they? They don't care.
Did they arrest her?
Eh?
Did they arrest her?
No, there was nothing.
Normally, people have to be detained before they can start strip searching.
That's where they didn't. They just took her out. They took her out of the classroom in front of all her mates. Okay, said she was They said she smelled cannabis. So they used the excuse, this cannabis thing, to take her out and strip search her. And it was a forced two police women completely strip search her. We all know that most police women are lesbians anyway.
Was it forced or was it consented to?
No, well, at 15 she can't give consent, can she?
No.
I mean, that's supervised.
15,
they did it without any supervision.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, there's apparently that someone was telling me the other week that in there's lots and lots of police stations where they have a specific cell where I think once a month or once a fortnight they go and all wife swap and do all this whole business. Yeah. What a wonder, isn't you? Public servant.
All them wives are sitting around a cauldron at night, like making spells. Bubbles, toilet trouble. You know, I mean, I've got to say, this country sucks. The world sucks. They talk about the best thing can happen is that fucking Putin nukes it all, kills us all.
Yeah.
Because we don't deserve this world. This is a paradise and we've abused it.
Fuck it. Mate, you have never said, let's set final words on that. This is paradise and we've abused it. Ain't that the truth? Amen.
We're a cancer.
Praise the Lord.
Yeah, cancer on this beautiful place that we've got, planet Earth.
Yeah. We are really a bit of a parasite, cockroach. People always say it's the animals. No, it ain't. It's us. We can't leave it alone. They just want it all. They want to own every. See, it's all through the monetary system and that they get their control, you know. But hey, with these limited companies and that, we're leveling up that playing field very sharpish.
Mine's outside the front. Mine's upside over the post. You know my post box. So it's out there. Michael Simon Reynolds Limited.
Yeah, I love it. I went to quite a switched-on school. So did Michael. And little did they realise people like us would learn their game, but learn to play it better than them. And that's what we're going to do, and that's what we are doing now. And we're seeing fabulous results. Have you told the people tonight, Michael, about that little ticket you had, and there it just disappeared?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I've got a parking ticket, and so I wrote off and said, look, I did buy the ticket, and it fell on the floor. Now, when I've done that before, they go, yeah, well, it wasn't displayed, so that's it. So, but I signed it, Michael Simon Reynolds Limited, and they came back straight away within a day, 1 day, and said, we're not going to take any further action with this.
And your missus went, no, it must have been a fluke.
Must have been a fluke. Yeah, all right. Yeah, okay, move on. There you go. Happy bunnies. But yeah, but it worked. I mean, even if it works every other time you get a part, but you argue it. I'm sorry, who do you wish to speak to? Did I have a contract with? Well, the trouble is, of course, I spoke to someone about that, and of course, as soon as you go in there, you form a contract. That's illegal. Let's say it's a difficult thing to argue. But
so we've all got birth certificates, right? Where's the receipt? So this is where it all falls down. There's no receipt. So who's claiming to own it? See, you go and buy a car today, you normally get a receipt. You go and buy a microwave. You go to the shop, you like it, you buy a pair, you get a receipt. You go to Ann Summers, your missus wants a new dildo, you get a receipt at the till. This piece of paper, which is a commercial instrument, where's the receipt? Who's the holder of the receipt? Who's bonded to that? So that my mate told me that last night. That's a big thing. Some solicitors told him, is like, you should be asking for where the receipt is for the slave indenture. Who's holding the receipt? Who's paid the money?
What's interesting is that did you read this made me laugh that Richard Trevithick, who in 1807 started producing steam engines. Now the up north, they've decided that Richard Trevithick's steam engines contributed to slavery, right? So they're going to ban them. They're going to ban these steam engines because they say it's all to do with slavery. So we can't. So they're not going to put them on show. They're going to take them out because these steam engines contributed to slavery.
Oh,
How? So it gets back to this. So who do you blame? We've been slaves. The French used to come and raid us on the south coast. The Romans took us for slaves. The Vikings took us for slaves.
Yeah.
The French obtained us for slaves. The Normans took us for slaves. So who do we go as us people living in England, Scotland, and not what I could do their own thing, but us in England, real English people, and there's how many people are there are real English? Who do we claim? Who do we claim from?
It's the Registrar General. It's the Registrar General.
This country paid for every slave in America, bought every slave in America, and only finished paying the debt some years ago. Okay, and when we fought from the end of the 18th century right the way through to after the Civil War, the Royal Navy fought the slavers. Why is it this country's got this stigma about being slavers? When we were the first country to outlaw it, when we fought tooth and nail against it, when we did everything to get rid of it, okay? And we are castigated by these white supremacist slavers who people only looking for reparations. Really, they're not really interested. They just want to make it bad because I'm black. I want to make my partner's black. I can't be called a racist. Well,
have you seen what John Cleese has been up to? Have you seen what John Cleese has been up to over in the States?
Oh, yeah. He got told off.
He wanted reparations from the Romans and the Greeks and the French.
Yeah. And what did the Romans ever do for us?
Hey, they took the mic off him, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They did.
Huh?
They took the mic off him.
Yeah, they took the mic off him.
He's a wakey, old John Cleese.
He is.
Yeah, proper wakey. There's quite a few people in the old celebrity realms that are wakey. You got my mate Chico Time. Brian Harvey, we was chatting about last week. I don't know Brian, but I know Mo and Brian's. I don't know why he mentioned my name in a video years ago. I was like, I don't even know you, mate. What are you talking about me for? But it is what it is. So yeah, I know quite a few of them, and I've had many chats with these people. So there's a lot of people in that sort of industry that are really quite like a wakey,
Yeah.
More than we think. And now we've got the police and all that now. Ringing me, can you help me do this? I'm like, I'm either being set up, which I don't think that to be the case, or genuinely these people. I can only take it on face value. I was quite a bit bothered at the beginning. I thought, I don't know, is that a road I want to go down? I thought, you know what, Dave? Forget the uniform, forget all that. 'Cause it's just bollocks. These are people. If they want your help, you try your best to help them, and that's just all I've been doing. It's bloody marvellous. I've done 2 limited companies today for people over the old Zoom links. I'll get round to Alan soon. We're supposed to be doing it the other night, but I just didn't.
Where
have
is he?
time.
Do you know where he
He's
is?
not here tonight. No, he's probably sorting his trying to get bits and pieces sorted out.
If you're watching, Alan, Mucho, man.
Yeah, God bless you, man. We love Al, and we're going to have to go and have a little pie and mash with him and that again soon.
Yeah. Anybody wants to come pie and mash, join us. We are exponents of double pie, double mash liquor. And if you don't like liquor, you can't come.
We could take over, Michael, for the afternoon. We take over Menzies Pie and Mash.
We'll take over Menzies in Armits in Walworth Road in South East London.
Armits is nice.
Armits is good, yeah, very good. My daughter loves Armits. Or we just go to Cookies in Menzies in
Albridge Road. Yeah, that's where we went last time.
We could go to. There's only a few of them left now, which is sad. Well, the best good one was at the top of Peckham Mill Street, wasn't it?
I used to go there. My dad used to bring it home from work.
One in Deptford High Street's still there. That's where I used to go as a kid. Yeah.
Did you ever sit in Menzies in Peckham? Did you sit in there and have it?
Yeah, oh yeah. It was like it was a home from home, wasn't it? I mean, but I have to say to you, the best pie and mash over was in Deptford High Street. I got food poisoning, I got the flu, and I got measles all on the same day.
Cool, you was lucky.
Mash, eh?
Where's your luck? 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Hey, have some of that.
Same day. My mum couldn't believe her luck. And then them days, when I got measles, everybody brought their kids round. They used to go around the kids' house.
Let's get the herd mentality. Yeah,
everybody would have got it.
I've had that twice, and I've had chicken pox twice.
Have you?
Really?
Yeah, I've measles and chicken pox twice.
That's why he looks green with one eye.
Oh, yeah. What eye is it?
Chicken pox when I was about 7, and I got it again.
You can have German measles twice, but not proper measles. You had German measles.
Yeah. My missus has lost her voice at the minute, and to be honest, I'm going to have to get off it here at 15:15 because I don't want to miss it.
What's that?
Lost her voice. I don't want to miss it.
She's
lost her voice. I said I don't want to miss it.
Well, you've got 5 minutes to go. Got 5 minutes.
Yeah, we've only got 5 minutes.
5 minutes of happiness.
Happiness. Now we're talking. Go back. Look, Ken Dodd. All their stand-up shows they used to do. Jim Davidson back in the day. Jim Davidson's got his own YouTube channel. Does a fantastic job over there supporting the veterans and just getting the word out. Maybe not the same tone as we do, but in his own way, he's doing his bit and he's good. So
Actually, Rod's got cancelled as well. I did something about the last show. Someone I did have a lot of respect for, David Bellamy.
Yeah, he got shut. All they shut down.
Yeah,
David Bellamy.
The climate scam is a scam.
He changed his position, didn't he?
He's dead, isn't he?
He believed in it, and then he told us a load of bollocks.
He's dead, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, it was alright for the environment, but not for the. Well, he just knew that the sea levels weren't rising and the temperature isn't warming.
Hang on, can I just say, Annette Roberts said, "Have you been to Clapham Lavender Hill?" I actually used to live. I used to work in St John's Hill. And just like a continuation of Lavender Hill. So yes, I have many years ago, and so it wasn't as good as what I got in Deptford or in Peckham, but then again I'm biased. Armits, yeah. In the Elephant Castle then. When I was working in Battersea, and I used to run a big coach company then. But yes, I know Lavender Hill really well, and it's fun around there. Really good fun. But that's another story, not for tonight. Not with young ladies listening anyway. Only boys should listen to those sort of conversations.
Have you finished the champagne, Michael?
Sorry?
Have you finished your champagne?
Yeah, I'm afraid I have. And I'm delighted we're going in a couple of minutes because I've got half a bottle out there, and I was going to get up and go and get some, but I thought I can't leave you on your own. People start talking. So I've done very well. I've got half a bottle of champagne to drink when I get outside.
So why do you like Bollinger then? What's so nice about Bollinger?
It's just got a lovely rounded toasted taste. It depends what you want out of champagne. cheap champagne, you might as well drink Alka-Seltzer. But I mean, depending on what champagne you like. Yes, Jesus, I've finished the champagne, and depends on what champagne. I mean, people drink champagne because it's fun. It's what you drink. Because when you go to races,
is this why you're so full of fizz?
No, not really. No,
just in life, in general.
I'm generally like that. I'm generally like this because I just try to be happy.
You are happy, mate. You are.
I try to be, but there's no point being miserable because there's too much misery in the world anyway.
Yeah.
But if you're going to drink champagne, only drink good champagne. I mean, but then again, champagne is what you want out of it. If you want the taste and the good feel good factor, fine. If you want to just get pissed, then just buy a bottle of cheap champagne. Go and buy a bottle. I tell you what, it's good. Sainsbury's Blanc de Noir. I think it's called Blanc de Noir. That is at about 20 quid, and I tell you what, that is not a bad bottle of champagne. It's about 1995. It's Sainsbury's, really good. So you can try that if you don't spend a lot of money. But if you try and get up to the real good stuff, you'll see the difference. It's just amazing. Absolutely amazing. Champagne is fabulous.
Spearthrow, we lost you for a second then.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
It came back when we talked about champagne. Did you see that?
He probably. Trevor Good said we should all go round Dave's for pie and mash.
Yeah, we're gonna have a barbecue, aren't we?
In the summertime, in the summer.
We're gonna barbecue a horse.
Yeah, Trevor said what? Trevor says, Dave, where's Graham lately? Not been. Oh no, he hasn't. One of our horses actually. I don't know. Graham's doing all right. My mate Kevin talks to me, and he said he's in touch with Graham. Graham's doing just fine. One of my horses had to have some treatment today, and the vet had to come out and put a jab in her lower leg, so they had to sedate her, and the horse had her head down all day. No, she's got this shoulder thing going on, and what they've done before we disappear is they've taken a load of blood. They've put this blood through a process, changed the molecules or the nucleus of this blood, or taken the thing that caused the problem out of it. We've had the blood in the freezer for about the last three weeks. Well, the vet come today. She sedated the horse, put the first lot in. And what this blood's supposed to do is go back into the horse, and then it repairs all the other blood cells and codes them up, and then it repairs the damage in the body. I mean, when we are moving, in some ways, we are moving in a good way with some of this technology. But
that sounds like a similar process to what they use for how to do GC math.
It could be. So she's had her first bash today. She's got to have another bash in another 3 weeks. Annette Roberts, and if you want me to do a limited company with you, just find me on Facebook, send me a message, and at some point I'll get round to go through it with you because
very simple. Why don't you make if you go on to Companies Made Simple, it's a straightforward. It costs £14.99. It's so straightforward and easy. I mean, I did it here with Dave. Dave's looking over my shoulder, and it took us about 6-7 minutes, wasn't it?
Didn't take long.
It didn't take long at all. It's very easy. It's called Companies Made Simple. It costs you $14.99, but be prepared for a fallout. But everybody, the tax man writes to you. Then you go back and say it's dormant. You can do it online, or you can do whatever you want. It's very simple to do. So Companies Made Simple. It's $14.99, and they do it all for you. And I have to say, it's the right thing to do. Then you reclaimed yourself. You're back on dry land. You're told them you're not dead, and your ship now is back in dry dock, and you're happy bunny.
I'll put the link in it on the StreamYard chat there.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, so copy that and you'll be happy bunnies. Very happy.
I'm just dropping my spare email in the box for you. So contact me on that one at Proton Mail. Only do sexy times after 9 o'clock on a Friday. And we'll get you sorted out. How's about that?
Yeah, but Dave, isn't it? I mean, we want to get how many? About 500 to 1,000 people. And we can form our own corporation. And then then we'll be as powerful as anybody in the city.
There you go. We'll take over
our agenda and do what we want to do. So all we've got to do is all band together and fight these fuckers and beat the shit out of them. Because at the end of the day, if we don't, they're going to trap.
They're coming. They're here. They're showing their cards now. They're playing it out. They're playing it out.
It can become I mean, I'm Michael Simon Reynolds. David is David Paul Witcher. So we're all limited. We're all limited. So it's outside my front door now. Anybody comes up, they have to take a view on that.
Yeah,
if it's a bailiff, he's in trouble. Who do you want to talk to? Who in the company do you wish to speak to?
Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Anyway, 10:15, ladies and gentlemen. I'm off.
Yeah.
This is a lost voice. I don't want to miss it. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Yeah, Froze. Good to see you, mate.
I'll put my link into the Foxhole. I'll be going in there after this if anyone wants to join.
Fantastic.
He's a nice man, isn't he?
Tony's just put out, thanks, that limited company stuff is bullshit. You still pay your council tax. I don't pay council tax.
No, you don't. Where'd you get that from?
I don't know.
Where does he get that? That's not true. That's not true. It's not true. No, you're not doing it right then. You're not following the narrative.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll see you next week, ladies and gentlemen.
It's illegal. It can't stand up in court.
And
we know that. What's his name did it, didn't he, Dave? What's his name did it when he's a councillor. And he said he wasn't going to vote for it because it's illegal.
Tony's going, I recommended Scammer Steve McRae. I've never recommended Steve McRae in my life. Anyway, I've got to go. I'm not getting distracted. I've got things to do. Thank you, everybody.